We resist and we will win, shouts a crowd outside the Çağlayan courthouse in Istanbul. Campaigners hold up pictures of 44 mostly Kurdish journalists who are appearing in court. This is the single biggest trial of journalists in Turkey's history. The prosecution accuses the reporters of being members of a terrorist organisation, of belonging to the political wing of the PKK. But the defendants say that they are simply journalists who've written articles opposing the state system.
My name is Ramazan Demir. I'm a defendant lawyer in the case.
How will you defend them in court?
They will defend themselves because everybody has prepared their own defense, like individually, and we will going to talk about the freedom of the press and the freedom of speech and so on.
Is that a defense that the court will listen to?
They will have to.
I understand that if they speak in Kurdish,
They will be stopped immediately.
Do they plan to speak in Kurdish?
Definitely. So far, in any court, like in Kurdistan, in Istanbul, they have not allowed to speak in Kurdish.
Campaigners outside the courthouse include Busra Ersanli, a Turkish academic who's a member of the pro-Kurdish BD party. She was held for 8 months in the early stages of this investigation on suspicion of being a member of a terrorist organisation.
It is funny and tragic. It's tragicomic because I'm a professor of politics and I am a member of the BDP, Peace and Democracy Party executive.
They're in court, so they cannot come and speak to us. If they could speak to us, what would they say?
They would only say that it is due to their articles that they have wrote. So it's only because of their thoughts written by their names.
Do you have faith in Turkey's judicial system?
Well, of course I don't. I want to. In near future, I hope.
The Turkish authorities ban recording inside courtrooms, which is a great shame because it means that we can't bring you the sound of the judge shouting at the defendants while they pay him no notice whatsoever. The accused spend most of their time in the first hearing waving at their family members in the public gallery. One reporter missed the birth of his child while he was in captivity, so his wife has brought their baby to court. When their names are read out, the defendants reply "Ezli vidim," Kurdish for "I am here." One detained reporter then asks to present his defence in Kurdish, but the judge says no. After hearings on 4 days, the trial is adjourned till November. This case is a sign of the government's attempt to act against what it sees as threats from Kurdish separatists on all fronts.
Son bir ay içinde bölgede yürütülen operasyonlarda toplamda yaklaşık 500 terörist etkisiz hale getirildi.
In the last 1 month, around 500 terrorists have been killed, the Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan tells a class in the city of Denizli at the start of the school year. The fight against terrorism is clearly considered a suitable topic for a group of school children. Since the collapse of secret talks in Oslo with the PKK in 2011, violence has increased dramatically. Selçuk Ünal is a foreign ministry spokesman.
The Turkish government has been fighting with the PKK terrorism for a long time, and this fight will continue. There's an increase, but the government, the country, the law enforcement agencies will continue to fight with this scourge of terrorism in every part of Turkey.
Does the Syria conflict make things more complicated?
PKK terrorism has been there even when we were in good terms with Syria, but there are, of course, allegations that we are investigating and focusing on, that there is PKK terrorists coming from Syria. On that, we are focusing on that as well.
The government believes that this focus will keep it in power. Showing weakness against Kurdish separatists is considered a vote loser. But Hugh Pope from the International Crisis Group in Istanbul sees it differently. He's just published a report on Turkey's conflict with the Kurds.
I think Turkish public opinion is much more open-minded than you would believe listening to the politicians. We've seen extraordinary changes in Turkey. For instance, the advent of 24-hour Kurdish language television. Unthinkable 10 years ago. We had talks with the PKK, previously unthinkable, revealed, and nobody said anything much about it. The political leaderships feel incredibly vulnerable to being upstaged by political rivals and newspaper headlines as looking weak or losing face and so forth, which points to an absence of political courage, which is really the missing element right now.
Political courage on all sides will be tested during efforts to draw up a new Turkish constitution. The government wants to replace the military charter of 1982. Kurdish activists say that they want protections for their way of life to be built into the new document. This country now has to set down in writing exactly what role it expects its Kurdish minority to play in the Turkish state.